Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a application type video using all of my favorite products from 2019. Alright, so I am going to start basically with the base, and one of my favorite products from this year has definitely been the Wet n Wild Photofocus 3-in-1 Primer Water. Today in particular I'm using the coconut scent. I've used the rose and I've used this coconut. Wow, but coconut is strong. Maybe next time I'll do rose again. I haven't done cucumber, but I definitely do like the rose scent. The cucumber is a little strong. I just cracked that one open. It's fresh. And I like this. I think it was Juicy Jazz that I seen talking about starting with a primer water. I know Casey Holmes did that a lot, and it was something that I never did before. And once I started doing that, I feel like I noticed a big difference right here, especially, and in my cheeks. Sorry, my little boy scratched me a little bit ago, so now I've got this big red spot. But I noticed a big difference in my makeup application since starting with using primer spray. Something I will say is, since this is the first time that I'm using the coconut one, the scent is rather strong and it's kind of lingering, which it doesn't bother me too much, but I don't feel like that happens so much with the rose spray. So just throwing that out there. Alright, and then for let's see, I'm going to go ahead and go on to my next product, which if you watch any of my videos, I always use this for brows. The e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil, and mine is in the shade Blonde. For $2 at Walmart, this is one of the best brow pencils. Now, it does get, let's see, can you see that? The tip isn't super pointy or precise or like skinny like some of the other brow pencils, but I still feel like it does a really good job. I feel like it has good staying power, and it honestly has been something that I have repurchased time and time again. So I will go ahead and just, I mean, this is something that I feel like I can just go into my brows with very quickly, especially because it isn't so fine, or the tip isn't so precise. I feel like it fills the area quicker, which as a mom of two, you know, sometimes you just gotta get done. If you want to look nice, you just gotta get it on your face and move on. Like, you don't have a half hour to sit here and do these precision strokes to fill in your brow. And I feel like this e.l.f. brow pencil absolutely does the job. See? And voila, brows are filled in. My next favorite product from this year was the Covergirl Trublend Matte Made Foundation. I have mine in the shade L15 Porcelain. I have just loved this foundation. I did discover it this year, and it has been my favorite matte foundation, honestly. Before this, I don't know if I really had a matte foundation in my collection. I would go more with probably satin finishes, more dewy finishes, and this was really one of the first matte foundations that I tried and liked. I'm honestly trying to recall if I even have used, what matte foundations have I tried? I think the LA Girl one was matte, if I'm not mistaken, and that was not one of my favorite foundations, unfortunately. I did declutter that. The Pro Coverage foundation. The e.l.f. foundation is a satin finish. I don't know what you would consider the L'Oreal, oh, you know, the newest one. What's that called? Long wear foundation. The Infallible 24-hour. That's what it is. The Infallible 24-hour fresh wear. I don't know what people would consider that exactly as far as finish. So, foundation. No foundation. And you can clearly see how it has covered the pigment in my cheek. So let's go ahead and blend out the other side. This says it is a comfortable matte finish, oil-free formula. obviously with a pump applicator. And this, I feel like, is a good matte foundation to try. One, the shade selection. Two, my CVS actually has this foundation in testers, which I honestly think that is the only foundation I've ever seen at CVS that had testers to try. And three, I feel like it is available in most stores. Now, where I live, I am pretty rural, and we actually do have this at my Walmart. We have it at my CVS. I even believe, if I'm not mistaken, we have it at my Kroger. So I feel like for such a rural, hold on, for such a rural area to be able to find this in 3 different stores. Now, I do think Walmart and CVS have the larger shade selection. I think Kroger's selection is much smaller. But for my area to be able to even have testers in the slightest is a pretty big deal, because like to go to an Ulta or a Sephora is a 45-minute to a half-hour drive, or an hour and 15 minutes. So that's not something that's readily available where I live. So it is, that's primarily why my collection is drugstore. Every once in a while I will get out and go to an Ulta or a Sephora, but the majority of what is available to me is drugstore makeup. Alright, so there we have it. And this is a foundation that looks nice in between my eyebrows. It looks nice on my chin. I feel like it wears well on my nose and on my cheek. And that is obviously why it has made it into my 2019 favorites. And for powder, this is a newer find, but I honestly haven't put it down since I found it. This is the Wet n Wild Photofocus Translucent Powder. I feel like, oh, yeah, we can go ahead and do that. I'll set everywhere else. This powder, applying it with a wet sponge, I don't know what it is, but it is just, it's great. It just does something. This powder in particular, prior to this powder, I was using the Maybelline Fit Me powder, and I still think that's a fabulous powder, but something about this Wet n Wild powder has just become my favorite since I started using it via recommendations of like Tati and Allie Glines. I haven't put it down, and I don't feel like it looks heavy, which is what I like the most about it. And like I said, something about the application of this, like I know you can do it with all powders, but for me personally, something about the application of this with a wet sponge is just great. And I like that where it's a loose powder, you can dip it into your lid, you can dip the wet sponge into your lid, and you're not like crumbing up the rest of the powder like you would with a compact. And so I definitely like that. And it's huge. It's 0.70 ounces, and again, this is available at my Walmart and my CVS. So for us, this is definitely a win, and I do believe that the shade range of this isn't particularly bad. I think there's like 3 or 4 shades. So this Wet n Wild powder is definitely something in 2019 that I have been sticking to as a tried and true. Now, this next product isn't new, but the shade is new. In 2019, they came out with the shade 095 Cool Ivory in the Instant Age Rewind Eraser Concealer by Maybelline, and I have been using this like I have been loving it. I've been using this in basically every video. If you haven't seen my concealer method where I use additional products, I will link that up here in a card. But just for on the day to go, or the day to day on the go concealer, this has been my absolute favorite. It's a good color. I feel like it brightens my under eyes. It does help with my dark circles, and I feel like it blends very well. And yes, I realize I already powdered. I kind of flubbed, but we're just gonna make it work. But this concealer color in particular was just, I was so excited. I think I found it on CVS first. I don't even think I seen it on Maybelline's website, which is what shocked me about it. Because I am almost positive that I seen it on CVS and I went to order it, or maybe it was Amazon. It was Amazon. I seen that they had this newer shade. And so when I ordered it, when I ordered it, it said that it was going to take a long time to get to me, and I was kind of shocked. But then it ended up not taking as long of delivery as it originally said. And I kind of did goof up. It looks, I won't lie, it looks a little rough where I already powdered my cheeks. So that's my bad. That's not the product's bad. I just got to blabbering, chit-chatting, and kind of forgot what order of things I was going on here. But the product in and of itself is great. The Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser is a tried and true product, but in particular, this new shade for 2019 has been a go-to. I actually already have another in backup because I got it for like 72 cents from a CVS coupon deal. So I love this. And then for, let's see, my next product, what have I talked about here? All right, we go ahead, we'll jump into blush. This has been probably my most used blush in 2019. It is the LA Girl Just Blushing in the shade Just Natural. I love this blush. Actually, some of these products were even included in my, if I could only keep one item from each category, video, which I will link up here in a card for you. This was one of the blushes that I chose, and I just absolutely love it. My favorite way of applying this blush in particular is with a fan brush. This is from Beauty 360, which is a brand exclusive to CVS. It's such a, well, again, as I stated in that other video, it's just such a natural blush that it just goes with any look. I absolutely love it. I actually was keeping this blush in my everyday makeup bag until recently, when I switched it out, which I'll be doing a video on that soon, my everyday makeup bag, because I am trying out some different products that I want to use. But gosh, this blush is just, it's just great, and it's under $5, and it's just, there's other shades too, like the Just Glowing one is really good, but especially this Just Natural. And let's see, how much is in this? 2.25 ounces. So, I mean, I don't know. I've been using this for a while, and I still haven't hit pan. So this is definitely a good blush. Alright, and for highlighter, would it be any surprise that it is my Ofra Nikki Tutorials Highlighting Trio. I don't know if I discovered this in 2019 or 18, but this has definitely been the highlighter that I use the most. I just can't put it down. And I tend to dip into the shade Glazed Donut, but I also will mix in a little bit of Glow Goals every now and then especially this shade right here is very interesting because it has like this purple reflect to it. So every once in a while I'll be brave and wear that shade as well. But definitely the middle shade and the little bit of a darker gold shade have been my go-to highlights for this year. It's just, oh, I just love it. Let's see. Oh, I got a little too much. I got a little too loving, a little too excited. Sorry about my computer in the background. I was trying to upload a video, but then I needed to make room at my desk, so that was the next best spot. Oh, I just love this highlighter. It's beautiful. I love it, and I got it on sale either in 2019 or 2018 when they were having like the 21 days of some type of sale with Ulta, and this was half off, so it was only $15, which I thought wasn't too bad. So that was basically $5 a highlight, and I absolutely love it. This has been my go-to highlighter for the year. Okay, for eyeshadow palette, my favorite palette has to be my Sweet Talk palette from Colourpop. Sadly though, my eyeshadow in the shade Side to Side broke and fell out, so I'm kind of just trying to be careful with it. I particularly love this palette for the mattes, and I don't know if, I think these are shimmers. I would say those are shimmers. They're not or metallics. I'm not 100% sure, but definitely the mattes, I feel like they blend out very well. And the only eyeshadow palette that I have been eyeballing this year that like I'm excited about, because eyeshadow doesn't excite me. If you watch me, I don't do a lot of in-depth eyeshadow tutorials. One, I don't know how. Two, I have hooded eyes, so I feel like I just kind of lose the eyeshadow. But this has definitely been probably my favorite eyeshadow palette of the year. But next to this in the running would have to be the Going Coconuts palette from Colourpop. So I may have to pick that up at some point, especially if they have free shipping or the 25% off sale. Now that they've got like a zillion other ones out, the Going Coconut should be backed up and be able to be put on that like 25% off sale. Because I don't really have anything brown cool tone. The cool tone palette that I have is the Wet n Wild Nude Awakening palette. So I would love to have a cool brown tone because I feel like I would probably use that every single day. So very quickly here, let's do a very simple eyeshadow look. I am going to go in with the shade Work It, which is up here. And I am just going to work that into my crease. And again, I think I want to try doing a video where I follow someone's eyeshadow tutorial and see if I can't learn how to do my makeup better for hooded eyes. But just right now, that's not my specialty. Okay, see? Easy peasy. And then I'm going to use my Color Switch. This is the Shadow Switch Makeup Brush Cleanser. I got this at TJ Maxx for like $3 or something. I am going to go into the shade West Side, and I'm going to put that lower down to deepen the crease. Using the exact same brush, just working that back and forth into like my eye socket area. Voila. Then all over the lid, I am going to go in with the shade Melody, which is right here. I'm going to take a flat shader brush, and then I'm also going to wet it with my Wet n Wild Coconut Spray. Oh, I just got it straight into the fan and it kicked back in my face. Now I'm just going to apply that all over the lid. I think this is one of the few eyeshadow palettes that I use that I actually got a compliment on. I remember doing my eyeshadow for my friend's baby shower, and my cousin was like, wow, what eyeshadow are you wearing? And it was this palette. Alright, then I'm going to take some of the shade Fill. Oh, some of that eyeshadow just came. I think that eyeshadow is just going to have to go in the trash. I'm going to take some of this shade, which is Feel Free, and I am going to take it on this brush, if I can find it, on a tapered blending brush, and I am just going to deepen the outer corner a little bit, more so by pressing the color than by sweeping the color. Okay, and there is that. So I'm going to go ahead and do my bottom lash line, and I'm going to take this flat eyeliner brush, dip it back into that shade Feel Free, and put that along the top of the lash line. Then I'm going to go back and buff that out, and I am going to start with that first shade that we used at the top called Work It. And there you have it. Is it revolutionary? Nope. Does it look absolutely perfect? Nope. But this is what we got going on. So actually that leads me into my second to last product, which is my favorite mascara for the year. Would have to go to the Covergirl Clump Crusher Extensions Mascara. It is in the green tube, and I don't exactly understand why it's named Clump Crusher per se, because unless I'm not applying enough coats or enough product, I don't feel like my lashes get particularly lumpy, but I do love the length and the separation that it gives me. So it kind of does the opposite of what it claims for me, I feel like, but excuse me, but it definitely has been one of my favorites for 2019 for sure. Okay, and last but not least, my 10th favorite product of the year, my most used lip product, is the Maybelline SuperStay Ink Crown in the shade Lead the Way. I keep this in my everyday makeup bag. I literally use it all the time. It is a gorgeous shade. I love it. And the staying power is very nice. I can put this on before we go to church, and after eating, it is still there. Oh, I love it. I use it all the time. So I'm going to hurry and I think the only thing I need to throw on is bronzer, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I decided to go ahead and throw in a bonus product. Actually, we'll make it a baker's dozen because I have one more thing to talk about. So, oh, that's 13. That was dumb. I'm going to cut that out. Hold on. Alright, so I decided, since that was basically a full face of product, let's just go ahead and throw in a bronzer. Definitely my most used bronzer for 2019 was the Rimmel London Radiance Brick, and this is in the shade 001 Light. I have loved this bronzer for this year. I actually have a backup because I thought that it was going to be discontinued. But again, this is a product that's at my CVS. It's at my Walmart, and so I feel like when things are available here, it makes them even more likable in my book, if that makes sense. Like Colourpop, Essence. Well, now Essence is actually available at CVS online only. So is Milani. At least where I live, you can only find Essence and Milani online, and it's not the whole line either. It's select products. But things that you can get your hands on easily, like all of these products I could, well, okay. All of these products minus the eyeshadow palette and the highlighter, I could go to my local drugstore and pick up. And I think that's part of the appeal, is their availability where I live. So let's go ahead and make it 12 because I don't like odd numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 12. Definitely one of my most used tools this in 2019 has been the discovery of the Wet n Wild face sponge. I absolutely love this. I pretty much use it exclusively. I do have the e.l.f. sponge up here, but I'm not as big a fan of it as I am the Wet n Wild sponge, and I actually have 2 on backup because I love them that much, and they were on sale on Amazon. So this has definitely been my favorite face sponge. I love the pointedness for getting up under my eyes and around my nose, and then I love the bottom more so than the flat part of the e.l.f. sponge. Now I do like that for patting in, like for instance, I'll show you. Okay, so I'm all done. Spray my face. I do like taking the e.l.f. sponge on the flat side dry and just patting over my makeup to pat in the spray that I use for a setting spray. So that is one plus of that flat side. But other than that, I typically go with the Wet n Wild sponge. Alright, so here is the finished look using all of my favorites or new discoveries or most used products from 2019. I hope you like this video, subscribe, and come back for more. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.